Hello, my name is Emily Blanchard, and for my Keystone project, I decided to focus on trusting the Lord in all things. I decided to make this the focus of my project throughout this semester because I find that I do well when I need to trust the Lord in little things, but when things get a lot harder in my life, I found that I wanted to do things on my own and not have His guidance and help as much. I decided that this is especially important because I'm preparing to go on a mission, and I think that having trust in the Lord is a really big part of that. So for my project, I decided to focus on four main things throughout the semester. I focused on the temple, scriptures, general conference, and the testimony of others. And as I go throughout this, I'll explain the role of all those different things. But for my project, I made this scrapbook type book that just includes all these different things. So I kind of just have like a little bit about my experience. And then the temple is the first thing that I wanted to focus on. So with the temple, I decided that I needed to find a place where I could feel the Spirit and where I could find answers to my questions when I had them. So my roommate and I decided that we would try to go to the temple every Tuesday. And while we were there, we would do baptisms and just be able to feel the Spirit that's in the temple. And I knew that I would be able to feel the Spirit in the temple, but as I went, I came to understand the power that the temple has in our lives and how we can receive answers and guidance while we're there. One thing that was a little bit tricky and hard for me was believing that even if I didn't receive answers to my questions, that the peace and comfort that I felt while I was there were answers, and that those would help me. By going to the temple regularly, it helped me to change my perspective of the temple and see the role that it can have in our lives. Some more pictures. The next big part of my project were scriptures that I found while reading the Book of Mormon that I thought really exemplified the trust that the people had in the Lord. I decided to focus on the scriptures in the Book of Mormon because that's what we were studying this year. And as I did this, I found scriptures that I had read before, but that hadn't struck me in the same way, with having significance with trust. And I really enjoyed being able to connect with the people's stories. And as I came to understand the trials that they went through, I came to believe that when I go through trials, that I can follow the patterns that they set forth and how they dealt with them, and that can help me to strengthen my testimony. Here are some more scriptures. And then general conference. So I'm from California, and I've actually never been to general conference before until this October. So it was a really cool experience for me to be able to go to conference and be there in person. I really came to understand the significance of prophets and inspired leaders and how they have such wise words for us. I really changed how I viewed general conference by being there in person, and I could tell that by paying more attention to it that I was able to get more out of it. In my book, I included some quotes from different general conference talks that focused on trust. Some more quotes. Oh, and that's me and my brother. The final section of my book is probably my favorite section because of how personal it is. I asked people to share their testimonies and experiences with having faith and trusting in the Lord. I asked my professors here at BYU and also some friends from my home ward about experiences that they had. And these are people that I've looked up to, and so it was really cool for me to come to understand the different trials that they faced in their lives and how their trials made them stronger. It was really interesting because a lot of them talked about how strong their testimonies were before, but how that the trials that they had and the trust that they had to put in the Lord made them stronger. This was really big for me because it helped me recognize that the Lord knows each of us personally, and that the trials and things that require us to put our trust in Him help us to become better people, and that they're individual to each of us. I also learned from a lot of these that our trials can make us stronger and better people, even if we don't always see that from the beginning. So I just have a lot of different examples here. Chemistry professor, some TAs, my seminary teachers from when I was in high school. It was cool because I didn't know all these people on such a personal level, but when they opened up and shared their experiences, it was really cool to recognize how we all go through trials and how even people who we may look up to all the time actually do go through trials too. And that was a big learning opportunity for me. So with this book, I was able to show all the different ways that I've been able to grow my faith in the Lord, and especially with the focus on the Book of Mormon and how the prophets and the people in the Book of Mormon were required to trust the Lord in all things. And I know that as I do better with that from these experiences that I've had throughout this semester, that I'll be able to be more confident in the decisions that I make when I trust the Lord. And I was so grateful for this opportunity to work on this project throughout the semester and the opportunity to be in this class as well. Thank you.